try to get to the numbers quicker. I know it seems like when I've had conversations with people who submit LOIs and gotten through acquisitions, that they can read the numbers much faster. So, I mean, can you tell me, like, do you think certain brokerage firms have better prospectuses for financial data? Keeping it just to online businesses, I mean, without being too high level, like, do the numbers vary by business model with SaaS model versus a content versus e-commerce? Kind of, should I be looking for different things?
Great questions. The best way for me to explain this is kind of in 3 phases of understanding, because I think you're going to have to go through them. There's no way to go from like a 9-minute mile to like a 5-minute mile. You got to sort of inch it away, right? When you first start, you get terrible financials from everybody. They all suck, right? And you're pissed off because somebody says it's $1 million of EBITDA and it's 300,000, or even worse, it's negative, right? And no matter how good you are at reading a sheet of paper, you're not going to get to that, right? It was essentially a lie on a sheet of paper. So I'd encourage you to move out of, if you're there, move out of that phase as quick as possible. Believe everything you get in a confidential information memorandum is baloney. So Elliot, how do you put together a letter of intent? I think just like when somebody tells you how big of a fish that they caught, you know, or how much money they have in their bank account, and you take it as being directional, but not 100% accurate. That's how I read these things now. Phase 2 of my progress was take the financials to be directional. Think about who's providing you the data. If I was coming into your house that you've been in for 20 years as a broker and trying to define every single thing that's happened to your house for a new buyer, as a broker, I'm not going to be nearly as good as you, the owner, Patrick, in knowing where all the bones are buried, all the stuff. I broke this wall. The foundation's kind of messy. A business owner that's been running their business for 20 years gets a broker. That broker is not going to know. So like highly differentiated products. Do you think a business broker knows that? Highly effective capital expenditure outlay model. Do you think a broker knows that? And they're always going to tell you the best thing. So best in class, best. So what you do is you say, hey, if this is directional, it's $1 million of EBITDA. I think I'm going to pay 3 to 4 times. Hey, broker, I'm thinking 3 to 4 times. You might say a little bit longer. Hey, I was kicking it around. You know, I heard it's like 3 to 6. It's not really the best deal. I'm at 3 to 4. See if your offer is in the ballpark. That was sort of phase 2. Phase 3 for me is now.
I got a question about the 3 to 4 times.
Hold on one second, Raven. Let me finish this and then I'll come back to you. Phase 3 is I don't believe squat until I get bank statements. Now that takes a very different approach, right? But if you think about it, at first I believed most of what I saw. Then I believe very little. Now, until I have like the Carfax, until I have the real data, until I'm talking to the seller in a one-on-one scenario, I'm going to give a 20 or 30% wiggle room on almost any piece of data I get. So I encourage you both to get better at reading through the financials, but I'd also encourage you to just trust that they're directional at best. Revenue, EBITDA, I try to get to an offer pretty quick. Raven, you had a question about, and this will be the last one for today, guys. I'm so glad you guys that came, so thank you. But I need to hop off. What do you got, Raven?
Yeah, this is a quick one. So who decides? Because not only do you have to agree with the broker and the seller on SDE, but you also have to agree on the times to earnings that you like. If I say, you know, all right, I think this is your SDE and I want to pay you 3 times. Well, they can say, yeah, all right, I agree with SDE, but you should pay 5 times. So who decides on that?
Great question. If I want to come buy your car, who decides what the price of the car is?
The seller.
And I can tell you, hey man, Cutlass Supremes in Atlanta are only worth, $1,000, man. I'm not paying you 10. because I did this equation and Kelly Blue Book says blah, blah, blah. Until I hit your price, I don't have a deal. We use the discounted cash flow. We use the EBITDA multiples to not be way off when we put offers in. And hopefully I didn't come at you any kind of way, but just we use those things to get to what a reasonable price is. But you'll really only know a reasonable price when the seller accepts your letter of intent. The broker has asked the seller what he'll sell for because the broker needs to know if this guy's crazy, because then I'm not going to get a commission from him. So he directionally has a sense, but I've talked sellers down 20% during the visit. If they like you, and the 20% might have been purchase price at close to seller note, but the seller sets the price.
All right.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for the questions. If you have any more, send them to my email. I'll get to them before next week. And I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.